Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This is the 11th rant, known as Age of Fake Outrage, ladies and gentlemen. In this episode, not only are we going to discuss the live feeds, but we will also recap tonight's live eviction episode, and we will discuss the Swayleigh controversy, ladies and gentlemen. And I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game, Ultra, Smith Dog, Trill, all of the above on that ISAT test and at ACT. You know what it is. Special shout outs to the mighty mods. I have been withholding that special shout out from the intro lately, and I made it a point of emphasis to go ahead and mention y'all early in the game. How are y'all feeling? Okay. Now, at the end of the day, this can go either way y'all want it to go. We can start off with the Swayleigh talk, because you know I got to do a sound check real quick. Or we can go ahead and get right into this stuff and end that way. I'm pretty sure y'all would prefer me start off with the Swayleigh stuff, though. So I'm going to look in this live chat for a split second. Man, talk about a copyright strike. Come on, ads, okay? Let's get into this Swayleigh stuff first. I just wanted to make sure y'all could hear me. Talk about a copyright strike. Yeah, exactly. Talk about one, right, Coach? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am free to be unleashed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Just Sheldon, there is a situation that needs to be discussed. I have taken more than enough notes on this matter. I have ranted on Twitter about this matter. But this is where I specialize in, ladies and gentlemen. When I can freestyle and truly make sense out of nonsense, okay? When you really break down this problem that people have with Swayleigh, I can't help but notice that this is happening at the exact same time when these same people are butthurt about how Celebrity Big Brother US Season 2 is going down. I don't believe in coincidences, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is a whole bunch of butthurt human beings, mad that 5 straight white men have left this game as of tonight. 5 straight white men have left the game. They are salty. They are looking for any type of consolation prize. And if it means they can get to apply some pressure to 2 of our young black king and queens, if it means humbling them, they'll take that consolation prize, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break this all down. And the reason why we're going to break this down, because usually I don't like diving back into stuff from past seasons. But seeing as this is coinciding live with Celebrity Big Brother US 2, and seeing as my theory is the way this season is going is impacting whether this even made it on Twitter or not, I have to include both. They're in lockstep with each other, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start off simply by just mentioning how, at the end of the day, the only reason this is even a story now is because the anti-black fandom in this community are looking for things to distract everyone from this Celebrity Big Brother season, ladies and gentlemen. I don't find it a coincidence at all that these people are mad at Swayleigh while 4 straight white men, now 5 straight, happen to get evicted in a row. Now, this pent-up anger with this season is overflowing into social media with Kevin's daughter, of all people, accusing Swayleigh of being money hungry and clout chasing as she attempts to gain money and clout from calling them out. How is that working out for you, Coach? You know, if you're going to be the person that's on this social justice warrior pedestal, how about you not try to do the same thing you're accusing them of attempting to do? I'm sure that would help your case, help your cause, but that's neither here nor there, because she has the complexion for the protection, for the collection, so people defend it. But that's neither here nor there. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. It's hypocritical from the start how she even went about doing this, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to get into Kevin, because I think Kevin is really full of shit here, okay? Because no real man is going to let their daughter fight their battle for him unless they think it would make sense to let her fight said battle before National Cancer Awareness Day. That way you could come in to close like you're fucking Michael Jordan on the damn day. Yeah, you think we ain't peep game on that. And you got all the Kevin stands. Oh, this has been going on for 6 days, Dave. Shut your dumb ass up. But the daughter didn't speak up for 6 days. She specifically chose the day before National Cancer Awareness Day to air out a fucking essay. All of a sudden now we in college and we got to give out our fucking midterm paper. You feel what I'm saying, Coach? The timing. Look, this is all by design, ladies and gentlemen. And only white people get away with running scams like this. You know, you might have a white mama that might be pimping out her kid, saying, he's being bullied at school. He might not be bullied at school. He might just got his ass beat for calling a black kid the N-word, but we're going to hide that from the news, and we're going to just give this mama credit for raising kid for her money. So understand, this happens in the media all the time. They run to defend white folks that are trying to hit licks like black folks or at least like they think the black folks are hitting. But I want to drive this point home, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone thinks that Swayleigh did this with this long con game of getting money off of people. Do you understand that Bailey maxed out all her credit cards? Now, Swaggy only took $2,000 back. I'm pretty sure Bailey has more than $2,000 on all her credit cards combined. So if they were really looking to make some money out of this, why did they leave out with only $2,000? See, you're not making any sense, coach. And then when Kevin starts saying stuff like, oh, I don't want your money, I just wanted a flight home. If that's the case, why your daughter talking that hot shit? She's sure talking like you want the money. And see, it's harder to come at a little white girl. Let's just be honest. It's harder to come at a white girl hard as opposed to coming at a white man hard. See, if you come at a white man because he came at you, then that's mano y mano. No one can really knock you for that. I mean, they will because, you know, microaggressions exist. But at the end of the day, the white girl crying strategy was applied to Twitter. How the hell does a white girl crying strategy usually, which is exclusive to the game of Big Brother, how is that trickling out into the realm outside of Big Brother on Twitter? It is because, once again, Big Brother is a microcosm of real life, and the white privilege exists on both sides. And the same people that are defending Kevin now are showcasing the white privilege while saying it doesn't exist. But I digress. Let me continue, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know me. I am going to totally ether these motherfuckers tonight. Swayleigh, don't worry. I got it. Let Thanos handle this, coach. All right. Then people come out and start changing the narrative to Kevin is universally loved, and Swayleigh needed him for anyone to care about their basketball game. This is a lie, and it is revisionist history, ladies and gentlemen. And let me clue you all in on why. The more recent the season, the more relevant and more influential the alumni. This is why you see older alumni pick fights often with the new class of players to stay relevant. We see it all the time, right? This is also why Kevin needed Swayleigh, because nobody from his season is liked or relevant. Ooh, that's facts, okay? And trust me, the people that no one likes that aren't relevant were all of Kevin's friends in the game. He was part of the friendship cult, but you all keep saying Kevin is universally loved. No, he ain't. That's your narrative that you're trying to push, okay? Like, speak for yourself, coach, because he ain't universally loved if anybody woke has watched this game and understands the code. But anyway, let's continue, okay? Ooh, they finna get this work tonight. And that's why even the winner of Kevin's season is now on MTV to chase clout. Ooh, facts, okay? But isn't that a testament to Swayleigh and even more of an indication to how overblown it is that Kevin is so loved universally? If he truly was, why did he need BB20 players to raise awareness over the people who actually lived with him in the house? Kevin and his family needed Swayleigh more than they ever needed Kevin because of his contributions to blackface in Big Brother 19. And because Swayleigh's alliance was the most loved alliance in BB20. You see where I'm getting at? He needed the new faces of the Big Brother community. That's what the wrestling community would call it. The good guys are the faces. The heels are the bad guys. Swayleigh are the faces. They were the leaders of an alliance that the majority of superfans rooted for because they went against production, okay? So it makes sense. It makes sense for them to tag along to the Swayleigh boat because that's the only way for Kevin to get a rebrand with the black community. But let me continue, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Because people want to say, hell, he wasn't even part of blackface. He didn't enable it. He was in a different room, Dave. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Paul wore blackface the entire fucking day. Oh, I'm a snake. What are you talking about? He did it in several rooms. Kevin was in said rooms, and Kevin grew up in a time of segregation. Kevin grew up in a time when blackface was more prevalent. Hell, I got a rant. I was back in the day during BB19. See, this is why I got to be the one to say this shit. Because in BB19, I was the one putting y'all on game on the real Kevin Schluber. Everybody was like, Dave, you're a little too hard on him. Come on, he's an old guy. No. I saw the microaggressions, and I saw the code. He was way all too willing to be friends with a whole bunch of bigots in that house. Let's just call a spade a spade. He grew up in Massachusetts. Boston is the most racist city in sports history. All right. And I'm just talking about sports. We can get even deeper than that. But my point is, he's from one of the most racist cities, but he's one of the good ones. He's already admitted to us that his dad was a gangster, and yet he still has a good reputation to people. Now, let me ask y'all this question. If a black man tried out for this show and admitted his dad was a gangster, do you honestly believe these same people would have his back even if he had cancer? Ooh, see, that's where the bullshit starts. And see, I'm only on the precipice. I'm not even close to the peak, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. Y'all gonna get this work tonight. Y'all picked it with the wrong two people. Y'all picked it with the wrong two people, because then Thanos shows up, the Infinity Stones get collected, and now y'all like, damn, we didn't even want all this smoke. Okay, let's continue, because I ain't even nowhere near being done with y'all. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, Kevin clearly isn't loved universally, so I've already debunked that theory, okay? If he was, he wouldn't need BB20 players to help him in this situation. Kevin and his family needed Swayleigh more than they ever needed Kevin, like I said, because of blackface in BB19. This is why nobody on Tyler's side, and see, this goes back to the whole Swayleigh was part of the most loved alliance in their season, okay? This is why nobody on Tyler's side from BB20 did anything for Kevin themselves, because Kevin and his family were smart enough to know those motherfuckers ain't the ones that I loved after the game. It's like Gary said in BB Can 5. Oh, you won't know who the people love until you're out of this house. Remember when he said that? I believe he said that to Netta, didn't he? And he had Iko with him. And see, that was a very strong statement, because a lot of people are buying their own bullshit right now to the point where they're becoming a little sociopathic, in my opinion. But let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, this work is going to come. It's going to come. So at the end of the day, this is why they relied on Swayleigh. This is why they relied on Faisal. This is why they relied on Haley instead of going to Tyler, who should have had more clout, technically, being the guy that everyone acted like they loved so much. You know, surely Tyler would have been able to put on a bigger show, a better show for you. But deep down, you knew you needed that rebrand. You needed black folks to host this for you, to make you seem like less of what you really are. See, I'm peeping game right here, y'all. I'm peeping game. This was a strategic move to allow Swayleigh to do this. All right, now let's continue. Now, at the end of the day, the super fans can tell Swayleigh is one of us. We look at them, we see how they played. Yeah, they may not have played perfectly, but we can tell they're one of us. They're one of the super fans. We look at Tyler, he's not one of us. He had shit given to him his whole life, okay? He works in Hilton Head. Everyone's rich in Hilton Head. He's probably getting great money to be a lifeguard, okay? And Kevin is no different, which is why I tell people, Tom fans, Tyler fans, Kevin fans, they're all cut from the same ilk. They all give the white man tons of benefit of the doubt, no matter what his history may suggest. And then they hold the black man to a higher standard, even though they don't understand the black man's life. See, this is bigger than just the surface. So let's continue. If Swayleigh would have never done this charity event, Kevin would still be disliked by the majority of black superfans because he never did anything from our perspective to make up for blackface. If you all remember, I was one of the only voices in this community during BB19 that held Kevin accountable then. Go back and watch my rants if you don't believe me. This is why none of his stands want to debate me on this, because the more they poke at Swayleigh's morality, I can do the same with Kevin's. So let's have a game. Huh? Everything y'all can say about Swayleigh, let me flip that shit about Kevin. And let's see who has the worst history. Let's see who has the worst past. Y'all don't want to go down that route because Kevin lives longer on this earth. Y'all know it's going to be worse on his side. So let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Look. The more they poke at Swayleigh's morality, I can do the same with Kevin's. Let's not forget, Kevin was the guy who was in the friendship code. Kevin was the guy who tried to hook up with Christmas Rousey, a woman 20 years younger than him, while he was married. Does anyone bring that up to act like he's not that good of a person morally? He was willing to break his wedding vows, Dave. Oh, but that still makes him a better person than these two black people. You see what's going on? So he can support blackface. He can contemplate cheating on his wife, and he still gets more support than these two black people, and all they did was love each other in the game. Okay, let's continue. And all they did was forgive him for his past racism, and then try to give him a second chance in their community. And then they get accused of trying to run game on him when really he was running game on them the entire time, then use his daughter to run further game on them. But let's continue. Boy, y'all finna get this work. And with this current era of Me Too happening, Kevin, I'm sure you and your stands don't want me going here with you trying to hit on a woman 20 years younger than you. I'm pretty sure in this era of Me Too, you don't really go down that slippery slope, do you? So I advise you leave these two alone, coach, okay? Because you were the one who threatened to choke Dominique in BB 19. You were the one who kept talking about how you wanted to have sex with Christmas Rousey on crutches in Sequester. Okay, hey, be careful what you wish for now, because this smoke might be toxic. All right, be careful. And see, this is where my notes I get to him threatening to choke Dominique, or when he let her get bullied for something he participated in with that talk show. Remember that shit? You know, that should have been something he took 50% blame for. You all are crying because Swayleigh didn't give him 50% of the profit. He sure as hell didn't take 50% of the blame for that talk show. See how fake people are? All of a sudden, 50-50 matters when it's to help the white man. But when it isn't to help him, we ain't got to go 50-50. Let Dominique take the heat for that. That's jumping on code one-on-one, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, you Kevin stans will deny that. So let's keep moving. I'm just going to keep hitting you with jabs until you fall down. See, Kevin was supposed to be man enough in that moment to take 50% of the blame off of Dominique. That's what gentlemen do. Even if you're playing the game, Kevin didn't even care about the game enough to truly say, oh, I can't do that because I got to win this. Kevin threw his game away for Paul several times during that season. Okay? I'd argue he was more focused on Christmas than winning the game anyway. He got a welfare $25K for pressing a button, maybe the easiest $25K ever won in the history of Big Brother, mind you. And people still try to reward him with AFP after the fact he almost cheated on his wife. You see where I'm getting at with this? Kevin has 9 lives. Swaggy doesn't. Ain't that interesting? Now let's continue. So why does Swayleigh have to give him more than 50% for something he did nothing to help put together? Y'all want Kevin to get this money he didn't work for, and y'all were the same stands that tried to reward him with another $25K for AFP just because he was old. But let's go ahead and break down the age now, okay? Because this will further back up my argument. Swayleigh combined are close to the age of 45. Together, they are still younger than Kevin, okay? So why is this community holding young Black adults to a higher standard than a man who lived through segregation and allowed blackface? This all goes back to the theory that Black people are viewed as older than they actually are by white people. There's actually been a scientific procedure where they actually took a whole bunch of Black people, rounded them together, and did a case study. Okay, and they found the average white person thinks Black kids are 5 years older than they actually are. They think an 11-year-old's really 16. Okay, so when you see stories like Trayvon Martin, like Mike Brown, understand this is built into the very fabric of this country. So when people try to act like that same fabric doesn't exist in a game when they cast based off the fabric, they're being intellectually dishonest. See, this is why I'm really the Achilles heel for these people. I'm sure they would love me to sell out. Not going to happen. All right, let's keep going. So let's break down his age, y'all. Together, they are younger than Kevin, okay? So why is this community holding young Black adults to a higher standard than a man who lived through segregation and allowed blackface? This all goes back to the theory that Black people are viewed as older than they actually are by white people. Why else will we have so many people with high expectations for Bailey and Swaggy, even though they don't even like them? And conversely, why are these same people's expectations so low for a man they claim to love? I'm just good at this, man. People are getting on code here and they think we're stupid enough not to see it. Okay? People hated Swayleigh showmans, convinced Tyler deserved Bailey over Swaggy. Then once Tyler got into a fake showmance with Angela, these same people changed the narrative that Angela was the prize all along. I'm sure y'all remember that last season. People were really just stepping over themselves to make sense out of nothing. These same people allowed a married man and Kevin to constantly flirt with Christmas during his season and still liked him regardless. A guy can throw his wedding vows out the window for a woman in crutches and still be perceived as a universally loved figure? That's wild to me. But let his fans tell the story, and they'll say this didn't happen either, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler fans, Kevin fans, and Tom fans are all the same. They project themselves and all of their hate onto others as they grasp at straw man arguments, begging for others to jump on code and provide reinforcements for them on social media. This is exactly what Kevin's daughter did, ladies and gentlemen. Let's peep game here. Let's continue. They claim their quarrel with Swayleigh is simply about cancer, not the money. But it is about the money. If it wasn't, they would be okay with Swayleigh splitting the $1,600 between Kevin and a charity. But I want to drive the point home here that Kevin is well off and is cancer-free. He admitted to being the son of a mob boss. But once again, no one remembers that either, huh? Okay? Surely that should impact how he's perceived, but somehow it doesn't. He got street money somewhere that isn't even traceable in all likelihood, so it's ironic that you people are trying to run an audit on Swayleigh here. Let's run an audit on Kevin then. Y'all don't want to go down that rope. Y'all don't want to go down that slippery slope, but you see what I'm doing here, y'all? I'm showing you. Be careful what you wish for, coach. Be careful. Swayleigh isn't the one who has ties to breaking the law, though. And there would be 0% chance anyone would like Swaggy if he was proud of his dad gangbanging. So this is yet another double standard. So wasn't it the right thing to do to give more money to charity to help people who aren't cancer-free? That don't have the same disposable income as Kevin? What makes Kevin so special that he takes precedent over the other people who need the money just to be cancer-free themselves? Y'all can't answer that question, because the minute y'all do, you guys will reveal your agenda. So then that's when people just complain about Swaggy and Faisal's money. That's a talent fee, coach. The same way you got to pay an artist to show up to your club for 3 minutes after a party, okay? This is part of life. You pay people for them being there because they don't have to be there. And when you take into account, they did all of the work. They did all of the heavy lifting. They deserve something back. But the way people are talking about these two brothers, it's almost like they did the work for free, which implies what? Free labor, which implies what? Either prisoners or slaves. Keep that third eye open, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going at them right now. Let's continue, okay? That's when the Schluber nut huggers come in and say, but he still has to pay his hospital bill, Dave. When did Swayleigh say they would pay his whole hospital bill, though? Show me the quote. There was no quote that said they would pay the whole bill. And why can't he pay the damn bill when he was handed $25K from production by pressing a button? See, this is a moral dilemma for Kevin stans because they all look like jackasses trying to justify taking money away from a charity to give it to Kevin. So this is why they choose to come at Swaggy and Faisal for their $2,000 instead. But talent fees are standard with events, just like there's an appearance fee for a rapper to show up to a club. The money Swaggy and Faisal got weren't even enough to pay his bill anyway. So these people are saying Swaggy and Faisal weren't supposed to get any money for their hard work, which, like I said, implies they should work free, like slaves. See, these microaggressions, when I break them down, it's deeper than the surface level, okay? And if Kevin is cool with the way things went down, why is his daughter not? You see that? If you the pops and you telling them, hey, be cool, I don't want no money, then they gonna get on code and not say shit. But if you tell a whole bunch of people behind closed doors, if you tell the people you don't want no money, then tell your family behind closed doors, I do want the money, they're gonna go and get it, okay? They're gonna go and get it. So Kevin is full of shit here, man. He sent her on this mission to start this. Like, stop it, man, okay? Because Kevin is working with his daughter behind the scenes to trick all of you into taking their side in this. I think Kevin is letting his daughter speak on it to garner more sympathy as well. I think Kevin never gave a fuck about black people, but saw the opportunity for the rebrand and gave Swayleigh the thumbs up. Swayleigh, being the nice people they are, decided to do it despite Kevin's past, thinking they both could benefit from doing business. This is all logical, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin benefits from the money and rebrand with black folks, and Swayleigh benefits from bringing people in our community together and ending a terrible BB20 on a good note, okay? I think the fake outrage started when people got mad that two young black people could put together such an event without the backing of a white sponsor. That's where I think people are getting a little jealous here. This led to people counting their money. It's like everyone in the BB community that isn't happy with Celebrity Big Brother US Season 2 are all trying to do an audit instead of watching the feeds because they're mad, okay? Why do people in the BB community care so much about the money black people make but never try to figure out what the white folks make? People found out Bailey came from an opulent background and immediately judged her for it, but Angela got the benefit of the doubt even after what she said about tanning and having a ghetto complexion with Rachel. Nobody had Bailey's back then after JC's punk ass tried to say midget is just as hurtful as the N-word. When the black community got outraged by these things, we're called race baiters, even with sufficient evidence. Yet this white girl can have no proof, make an accusation based off nothing, and just because she's white, she has credibility from the start. This is white privilege, ladies and gentlemen, okay? It also isn't lost on me that this happened while two white men are crying every day and running to producers to save face on feeds, okay? And it also isn't lost on me that most people waited until Black History Month to get on code with their anti-black rhetoric. All of a sudden, a random tweet comes out with a picture of someone threatening to do a class action lawsuit. What y'all gonna do? Sue them for $4 grand so it goes to Kevin? The same $4 grand Kevin claims to have given the impression he doesn't need or want? Okay? So either Kevin is lying to Swayleigh, or both Kevin and his daughter are lying. Because Kevin has built up an excuse of recovery to keep him from coming out and ending the controversy. If he has enough time to get on the phone and speak to Swaggy, surely he should have the time to tell people Swayleigh did nothing wrong. Only way it makes sense for him not to do so is if there is an agenda to get money out of this on World Cancer Day. Understand, white people know how to really scheme the system and get over. Black people, not so much, because we're always being watched like persons of interest in this system. So understand, it's more likely that Kevin and his daughter are running a scam to frame Swayleigh for running a scam than it is for Swayleigh to run one themselves. Why would Bailey max her credit cards out for a funky $2 grand? She has that and more. Use your brain. You all are being played if you believe that a white girl crying strategy from yesterday, okay? And this goes back to why I started this channel, ladies and gentlemen, to point out how easily white people have it in the game and how they don't even notice the privilege in everyday life, okay? Kevin doesn't even care about Big Brother as much as his daughters. So don't rule out this being a clout chasing play for her to make it on BB21. I've thought about this, and we're going to speak on it, because if it happens, we'll know the long con, because we'll see it in July. Also, if anyone can remember the mistakes Swayleigh made in the game, but can't remember Kevin enabling blackface, they have a selective memory, and their words hold no weight in this conversation entirely. So anybody that want to come in this comment section, talk that hot shit, okay, but you ain't going to own up to the blackface shit, then you just going to get your ass deleted. I mean, no one really cares about your opinion, coach. Go to Twitter, okay? Anyway, Kevin gets on code today and tries to bury Swaggy's reputation by telling him not to mention his family or daughter. But your daughter mentioned them first. They can't clap back, but your daughter can attack with impunity before knowing the facts? I accidentally rapped right there, but at the end of the day, when you taking notes and spitting bars, sometimes it's bars. Kevin claims to not want money, saying all he wanted was a flight paid for. This is more lies. He claims to have only let his daughter get involved after he got no reply back. But this is bullshit because of the timing in which he chose to pounce. And the timing in which Kevin himself decided to finally speak on the matter was also bizarre. If he doesn't want any money, why did he let his kid speak for him and say he did? See, this is where he's full of shit. They timed this for the daughter to create a stir the day before Cancer Awareness Day so Kevin could come through, be the closer. This no doubt is the best way for them to raise money. And if they do raise money, even if they don't start the GoFundMe page themselves, it contradicts Kevin saying he doesn't want the money, okay? So no matter what, they're going to put their foot in their mouth eventually by taking the money. And that will be all Swayleigh needs to make them okay, like make them to free them of any wrongdoing here. The minute they take any money, Kevin will go back on his word and we'll know, if he lied about that, he lied about many things. Now let's continue. Peep game also on Kevin saying, remember who looked out for you all the time in his tweet. He said this to Swaggy. He's only known Swaggy for about 6 months, y'all. How the hell can you possibly look out for me all the time if you only known me for less than 5% of my life? You see what I'm saying? Bro, y'all peeping when I'm peeping? This is Kevin once again implying Swaggy owes him something. Then Kevin says Swaggy told him their friendship is over. But in the end, if Kevin was willing to let a friendship end over money he claims to have never wanted, he is once again lying. You see these? They're talking themselves into traps. Cancer Awareness Day clout coinciding with the threat of a class action lawsuit proves they are trying to gain clout from Swayleigh on this day specifically. But let the Kevin Deep Throaters tell it, and this isn't clout chasing at all. Everyone is on code because they are mad about this season. It's that simple. Only after the threat of class action do people say Swayleigh should have just shut up and apologized. Pay close attention to this, ladies and gentlemen, because it's the same racist rhetoric Trump uses towards black athletes. Shut up and dribble. It's basically what people are telling these two to do. But understand, if they would have never entertained this and chose to ignore it, this community would have used their silence as proof of wrongdoing. We know this community, y'all, okay? And this is important. This is important. This is a key point to bring up, meaning Swayleigh couldn't win whether they provided receipts or not, showing us yet again the game is rigged whether you were in the house or not. And people acting this way now is good because they no longer can deny white privilege after going so hard for a man who supported blackface. These accounts now can never blend back in with black social media again and act like they are down, ladies and gentlemen, which may be a blessing in disguise because now we know how people truly feel. Okay, so mute and block accordingly. And if Swayleigh would have apologized, that wouldn't matter either because black people can never simply apologize to get a clean slate. Did Swayleigh ever get a clean? Did Swaggy ever get a clean slate with Caitlyn? Did Bailey ever get a clean slate with Lifeguard Jesus? Now think about how many times black people have given clean slates only to been screwed over in the end, like Howard and BB15, or even Marin from Big Brother Canada 6. I'm gonna show BB Can some love tonight. All right, because y'all are pissing off some BB Can alumni with this shit too, by the way, Schlubers. Okay, even if you have 100% good intentions, people still think you're up to no good because they don't understand black people. Okay, and that's the real disconnect here, ladies and gentlemen. People who aren't black thinking they know how a black person should conduct themselves. That's a problem. And once you start counting another person's money that they worked for, you open up Pandora's box. Because let's be real, if a black man played Big Brother and admitted to having a gangbanging dad, nobody would cape for him like this, especially if he was connected to some racist shit. So let's stop the bullshit and just admit y'all cape for white people, and it don't matter who the white people are as long as they are white people. Swayleigh put their own money up, so they deserve money back. If you throw an event and pay the overhead fee, you have the right to decide how the money is distributed. They did it initially to help cure Kevin of cancer, but he got cancer-free before any money came. So I see nothing wrong with the talent fee being assessed after the charities got the same money as Kevin and it being a 60-40 split. If you watch their video, the money adds up. The only mistake they made was trying to help people in the first place. Because I tell y'all this, Sloopers, y'all have taught the entire black community to never help white folks again. If you're just going to automatically assume the worst because they made some money when really they lost money with a net negative, then you have pretty much made every black person from now on, oh, we just gonna fuck with each other now. And I'm sure that's what y'all want because y'all want it to be segregated, which goes all the way back to my entire point of this entire rant. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen, okay? But yes, at the end of the day, let this be a lesson to future black alumni. Even if your intentions are good and your heart is in the right place, and go in debt to throw an event, people will still call you money hungry, even if the net spin is negative. It's almost like people got over the celebration stage of Kevin being cancer-free and turned their eyes to the money when it was convenient to do so. So in closing, I'll end my thoughts on this and we can go ahead and get to the standard rant. I'll end it with this question. If Ricky Williams got cancer one day, do y'all think the new hot white couple from the most recent season of Big Brother would do anything for him? No. And do you think if Ricky had a daughter that would start shit with said white couple, that these same people defending Kevin would go off code to that couple and hold that couple accountable? Of course not. They would be too busy bringing up Ricky's past to justify why he doesn't deserve nice things, which is all I'm doing here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just reminding all of you that Kevin Schluber isn't this holier-than-thou public figure. And I'd argue he only was as close as he was to Swaggy to rebrand himself from the start. Stay woke, ladies and gentlemen. And now we can get into this rant, baby. Let's go. I'm ready. I hope I held down everybody with that intro, and I hope y'all see where I'm coming from. I mean, the intro was 30 minutes long just to discuss that, coach, okay? But let's go ahead and let's dive into this episode, ladies and gentlemen. And I will be taking questions at the end of this rant, ladies and gentlemen, because it was an eviction episode. So get your questions ready and just put them to the side and just copy and paste them later, okay? All right, now, first thing I want to mention from today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, it was really good to see Tamar claim Kandi as her ally in this game. I'm just wondering when the fight happened between Tamar and Lolo because it was kept out of the edit. And on the live feeds, they both admitted to a fight happening when feeds were cut before the live eviction on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. This most likely happened after Lolo pointed out Kandi hanging with Tomato. This is also great to see because on the feeds, a new alliance was created, and now we know Tamar is playing everyone else in the dream team to keep her girl Kandi safe with a double bluff like I thought she was yesterday on the feeds. Only bad side is we found out her twist expired today. On the feeds, Tom and Kato spoke like Kato almost had her beat. Shit, Kato even mentioned it to Julie. Oh, almost had her, almost had her. But if you guys really paid attention to that competition, it wasn't that close. Revisionist historian shit, okay? But Tamar clearly outclassed him in this competition. I didn't even see Kato move his hand after Tamar answered correctly. I think he choked and tried to rely on Tamar getting her answer wrong, and it backfired. But let him tell the story. Oh, A wasn't the right answer the entire time, and I just knew it had to be A this time. Shut your dumb ass up. That's full. Whatever, bro. Why didn't you click it then? Because you didn't click it. All right? Now, anyway, and that's why Julie had to recenter him, because he started to get crazy again. Like, it's something about Kato. When he gets excited, boy, he loses it, coach. But anyway. But this is exactly what Tom has built his game on, revisionist history. So of course he and Kato would lie like they almost won the comp. Also, it's hilarious that everyone celebrated Tamar's win a week before. No, everybody celebrated Tamar's win a week after these same people went over the top to celebrate Tom's veto win over her. It just goes to show how fast things flip in this season. And see, this is why I like this season, ladies and gentlemen. People are playing hard, they're playing fast, and they are being smart. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, you can clearly tell everyone sees their win condition. Everyone sees it, and everyone is chasing their win condition. They're not agreeing to be in an alliance if it's not going to work a week later. But granted, these people are smart enough to not be completely paranoid and crazy and erratic like Tom was. So let's continue. What are the odds that Tom and Kato are both on the block and the veto this time is the comedian Gallagher? Did y'all think this was a little suspect? This happened a week after they made the veto comp football centric when Ricky was going to be backdoored. I think production is definitely moving comps around to help Kato and Tom here. Now, it's funny because it backfired. But anyway, Pete game on Candy telling Tamar that Eva needs to go before Lolo. Now, I thought this was incredible gameplay by Candy here, because if Eva did get targeted, then that is a move technically Candy could claim at the end of the game. She could claim that move because she was the one who planted the seed, ladies and gentlemen. So even if Eva gets eliminated later in the game, and let's say it was Dina or Tamar that did it, and see, a lot of people forget Dina was in that room and she was privy to that conversation. That could play a role later if someone like Lolo or Eva win HOH. We need to watch Dina, ladies and gentlemen, because Dina is known as a rat in this house. That is her reputation. She takes information from you and runs to someone else. Now, maybe with Kato leaving the game and she has one less person to run to, in a sense, with just Tom there and Joey's gone, and pretty much every person who wanted to work with Dina in this game. It's like a Dina curse going on. Since everyone that's pretty much worked with her up until this point have all been sent home at this part, I think Dina's being humbled, and she realizes that she may need to go ahead and work with Candy and Tamar. I'm hoping that's a possibility, ladies and gentlemen. But this also worries me because production might be trying to work Tamar to save both Tom and Kato to guarantee their rigged comedy comp would work. Funny thing is, Tom and Kato both did terrible in this comp because they were too captivated by watching another comic. This backfired, just like every other thing production has tried to rig this season. Lolo wins veto, stopping all chances for Eva to get backdoored. This is still good for Tamar and Candy's game because neither of them will be a direct target of whoever stays between Tom and Kato or the rest of the house. This week has afforded her some good faith by standing in solidarity with the women to get out one of the men. Only way I see this backfiring is if Lolo or Eva win HOH and Dina tells them Eva almost got backdoored. This would fit right in with Dina's reputation, and it would also make sense out of production to push Dina to do it to get credit for a move in the game and the edit. Tom and Kato's speeches were both way too long, in my opinion. I don't know if y'all agree with me, but it kind of felt like they went up to Grodner and asked for extra 20 seconds. I mean, it's got to that point now where anytime they get some special treatment, I'm thinking Grodner. Like, for real, we're gonna get into the live feeds talk while that reference is very funny to me. But Tom thought he was the one going home all along because he thought Ricky controlled the women. So once again, his obsession is why he thought he was going home tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't because he was privy to any gameplay. It was because he always assumed Ricky ran the house. And because he assumed Ricky ran the house, he assumed Ricky would definitely push for Tom to go because Tom was targeting Ricky. But it didn't happen that way. You know, and I was even telling people on Twitter, I'd rather keep Tom since he sounds so defeated, keep him in the game. Okay. You know, and Ricky even went up to Tom and said, I'm not that bad of a person, man. Like hey, he even said that to him, you know what I'm saying? Gave him a hug and said, and I think that was good. I think that was good for Ricky to be the bigger person in that moment because Tom wants to make it seem like he's the bigger person. No, Ricky was the one who chose to hug you after Kato left. You didn't choose to hug him. Okay. It's just what it is. Okay. But yeah, like I said, yeah, he walked up to him. But I thought it was very ironic. Did y'all peep what Kato did before his speech? Did y'all notice how he said 3 words? He said what Tom said. I couldn't help but draw the parallel to those 3 words basically summing up his entire gameplay this season. Like, he has literally done basically all Tom has said. Even during his HOH was maybe the only time he didn't do what Tom said, but he had the power. After that moment, he has done absolutely everything Tom has said, and that's why he went home before Tom, because he banged on the table to defend Tom. And he even admitted in his speech, people have tried to get me to flip several times, but I refuse to. Oh, well, you deserve to go because you're an idiot. Like, it's just what it is. Now it's interesting that, interesting isn't the word. It makes sense that Tamar and Candy and Dina are plotting on ways to get rid of Lolo and Eva, mainly because at the end of the day, if you were watching Saturday's feeds, after Tamar won that HOH, you could clearly see that it was visible on Lolo's face that she was jealous of Candy and Tamar's relationship. And a lot of women were bringing this up, and I want to look out for my sisters here. They feel like Lolo is black when it's convenient, and then she ain't when it's convenient. They feel like Lolo, she makes it a point of emphasis to shit on Kato and bring the women together to all like pile on them. But at the end of the day, Lolo isn't really going out of her way to work with both sisters either. In a way, you can hold Ricky accountable the same exact way as Lolo is being bashed in the black community right now. And I can understand where both contingencies are coming from, ladies and gentlemen, but Lolo definitely looked very jealous of the relationship that was starting to grow between them. And if Tamar truly won that HOH right after she flipped the vote, it would make sense why Lolo was getting more mad. And I'm willing to bet she probably started that fight with Tamar in between the part in tonight's episode when Tamar was in the lounge room on Twitter and Candy was in the kitchen with Tom and Kato. And Lolo and Eva was just watching it from the bathroom, just like, man, why is she talking to them? I think the fight happened shortly after that because I think they may have applied pressure to Tamar, like, what's going on with your girl? And then Tamar went off because then shortly after that, you saw Tamar walk up to Candy and whisper something to her ear. And it's also important to point out she whispered that in her ear in front of Dina. So there might be some three-pronged team starting between Dina, Candy, and Tamar soon. We just don't know. And I can't wait to see feeds now, after Kato is gone, to see mainly who won this HOH. And by the way, if a HOH, ladies and gentlemen, has been crowned, please remind me about it when I start taking questions later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the feeds talk. I knocked Saturday out the way because I couldn't really watch it on Saturday. A lot of stuff happened on Saturday. And Saturday didn't really have as much interesting things as Sunday. So let's just jump into Sunday. At 12:55 p.m., like shortly after noon, Candy and Dina are upstairs playing pool, just talking about Joey, when all of a sudden some strategy talk comes from both of them. Allegedly, Tom has been crying about missing his girlfriend, trying to tug at the heartstring of Dina, but it isn't working. This is important to note because Tom will look like such a pathetic person for the entire day of Sunday. Production has gone as far as to tell Tamar what she can and cannot say in her nomination speech of both Tom and Kato. As soon as Candy tries to help Tamar come up with an eviction speech, feeds suspiciously cut again. Okay, and I want to drive this point home. Feeds keep cutting during Sunday because Tom and Kato keep acting bitch-made. Let me continue. Tom and Kato several times throughout the day imply whatever type of narrative about them Tamar or the women attempt to paint them as, production and Allison Grodner by proxy have assured them won't make the edit. Meaning, Tom and Kato used the meeting they had with Grodner to throw their weight around and probably threaten to quit the game. That's my theory. Because how could they gain all of this leverage out of nowhere if they didn't threaten to walk out? And I could see them two quitting. I could see it. All right, let's just put it that way. They would rather quit than have their reputation shitted on. I could see that. And at the end of the day, quitting a game that they don't really give a fuck about in a macro sense, I mean, that's addition by subtraction in a way when you consider all of the shit that's been covered up in this edit form. But let's continue. This would make the most sense because of how feeds seem to cut whenever they allude to production having their backs. This isn't fair to the other house guests, though, because this is part of the game. Nobody came in to have Dominique's back in BB19. Grodner let her get bullied, and Kevin Schluber, and allowed blackface. Okay? They hid that from the edit, though. Nobody came to have any black person's back when they got framed for stuff they never did, but Tom gets defended for playing poorly and destroying his own ticket to the Final Five. I mean, it just isn't fair to every alumni that has played this game before this cast to give these two these privileges. It just isn't fair. And in some ways, it's kind of hurting the integrity of the season, and I think that's what they're trying to do because they lost. You know, like they're throwing a temper tantrum. That was my crayon, mommy. Yeah. You know, it's almost like they're throwing a temper tantrum, coach. All right, now, Tom and Kato are convinced they are the heroes of this season, drowning in their own delusions of grandeur. I'm not lying. They are about as clueless to what the audience thinks of their gameplay as Tyler and Angela were with their fake showmans. Ding! They begin discussing what Tamar is going to say in her speech. They think it would show a display of strength if both of them sat next to each other at this nomination ceremony. They are focused on coming off as the good sports by not engaging in an argument during said ceremony. But let's not forget, Kato said a lot of messed up shit about Tamar in his speech, and even mentioned AFP in his speech to her. Isn't it ironic that now he's the one that's interested in that award? His social game is terrible. That's why he wants that award. You feeling me? He know he ain't getting shit else, all right? Tom sounds so butthurt because he keeps mentioning how Kato lost by only a second in the HOH comp. And before I go any further, let me just reiterate how bitch-made you have to truly be to say, let's sit together so Tamar's speech won't hurt us. Like, what? Y'all a grown-ass man. Tom revealed he was 47 years old tonight. You gotta sit next to Kato? Y'all gotta sit next to each other just to show some solidarity when you already rigged the speech to go your way anyway? What kind of dumb shit is this? But see, this is the stuff you will never know about in the edit. That's why you come to my channel, right? So let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. So like I said, Tom sounds so butthurt because he keeps mentioning how Kato lost by only a second in the HOH comp when he didn't. We saw it tonight, implying the other side doesn't have a right to be so happy for getting such a lucky break. But remember, these were the same house guests who cheered Tom on excessively over Tamar during the live veto eviction episode, and Tom was eating all that shit up. So understand, this is him once again not being able to take a dose of his own medicine. And see, that's really the real Tom Green here. He can't take a dose of his own medicine. He can't take a joke. He wants to dish out a joke. He wants to be paranoid. If someone's paranoid about him, something's wrong with him. Okay? Kato was convinced he's leaving before Tom. Tom, in a cynical way, thinks he'll only stay because house guests will want to torture him. Pay close attention to Tom telling Kato he won't leave before him because Ricky wants him out. Tom seems to think Ricky doesn't like him just because he stood up to him. Now, let me ask y'all this question. When did Tom ever stand up to Ricky? I got plenty of live feeders right now in the chat, okay? In the age of fake outrage, please let us know. When did Tom ever stand up to Ricky? Crickets? Okay, I can continue. He never stood up to him, coach. So what is he talking about? This is once again revisionist history, but let's continue. I mentioned on several occasions, all of the times, Tom never said stuff in Ricky's face. He even said this is Ricky's Super Bowl to downplay Ricky's accomplishments in life. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he said this season of Big Brother is Ricky's proverbial Super Bowl. He said that from his mouth. And this whole time, he's been the one taking everything out of context, taking everything personally, and being extra paranoid. So whose Super Bowl is this really? You see what I'm saying? Let's continue. This is Tom taking personal shots at Ricky in a passive-aggressive way. The type of ways that his fans seem to always stand behind, but that's neither here nor there. That would be the equivalent to Ricky saying, Tom Green never hosted Saturday Night Live. So he's this paranoid because this show is his SNL stage. That's basically what Ricky would have had to say to equal that level of hate. That's basically what Ricky had to say. See how much you have to overanalyze somebody's career to even say a statement like this? This is just another example of stuff Tom does to preserve his dignity. Yeah, I'm looking at y'all. What dignity? Anyway, the smoke. Anyway, Tom then talks coulda, shoulda, woulda by saying Kato should have kept Ryan in the game and backdoored Ricky. I knew this was going to come. I even mentioned in the last rant, y'all made the mistake. Y'all should have took the shot at Ricky over Ryan, okay? Y'all should have took that shot. You should have took it. Once again, showing his obsession with Ricky. They are convinced the women don't have minds of their own and Ricky is just pulling the strings. Now they know that's not the truth because Tom stayed. You can tell these two are full of regret, but to a certain extent, I think Tom still will have an obsession with Ricky, convincing himself that Kato was only gone because Kato came off a bit aggressive to the women. But on feeds, Tom keeps acting like Kato did nothing wrong. So there's no way he can compartmentalize this on the feeds or in the edit to make sense out of Ricky still being in charge unless he's willing to admit that he was lying the entire time. So see how fast I computed that? But see, that's the difference right there. Black men that think like I do, we don't get picked up like this, but this is why I like Ricky. He thinks like I do. He thinks fast. I'm seeing it, okay? I'm seeing it. This is one of the few black dudes, and I'm not trying to shit on no other black men that played the game, but I can clearly see that Ricky has a certain skill level that they don't really pick black men for. Okay, so let's continue. Tom even said he was on his way to the diary room to make a request that Tamar can't say anything in her speech that isn't true. This is some of the most beta male nonsense I have ever seen on feeds, ladies and gentlemen. Production tells him the DR is closed. Then both of them make a joint request to speak to a producer before nominations in the upstairs DR. Production is literally bending at the whim of two players. I can't escape the feeling these two guys threatened to quit. It's the only thing that could have given them so much leverage, because both quitting would throw off the schedule of the show and ruin its integrity. CBS can't risk that, so it makes sense why they are bending at the knee for these two. They are the only white men left. Production can't afford for them to quit after 4 already left. That would put a black eye, no pun intended, on this show's reputation with white male viewership. This is the first time I have ever seen a heterosexual white guy crying strategy in the history of the game. I'm being honest. This is how a white guy crying strategy works. Can I speak to a producer? That's what that is. Imagine if John Bennett did this shit. We would have been all over John. So why can't we be all over Tom and Kato for the same thing? Why are they still so dignified? All right? Let's be real, y'all. Let's be real. They getting special treatment here in more ways than one, okay? But yeah, so like I said, if both quit, it would throw off the schedule of the show and ruin the integrity of it. CBS can't risk that. So it makes sense why they are bending the knee for these two. They are the only white men left. That would put a black eye on the show. This is the first time I've ever seen a heterosexual white guy crying strategy in the history of the game. Tom eventually gets called to the DR, and Kato decides to wait his turn as he plays pool upstairs. Fees then cut for the nomination ceremony. Fees come back, and Tomato thanks Tamar for doing what they forced her to do through production. I thought this was very condescending. They handshake on it and realize they have nothing to do until tomorrow. And if you watch Tamar's nomination speech today, you could clearly tell it was very sarcastic. You could clearly tell she didn't want to do it. And you can clearly tell she has more personality than that. But they neutered her personality. They limited her personality just so these two can feel like they still have what little ego left, okay? And that's just the truth, man. I'm not here to provide opinion. I'm here to just tell y'all the truth on that. That's the truth. And that's why Tamar didn't like it, okay? But yeah, so at the end of the day, they handshake on it, and nothing really happens until tomorrow between them. Tamar, Dina, and Eva begin chatting in the HOH room about random stuff like dating and segue it to Kato and Tom. Tamar refers to Kato as the demon and even called them running to production, making a deal with the devil. I love seeing this, Tamar. I love seeing this version of Tamar, man. I really did. When she's HOH, man, she says some really good stuff. And she says it, and I think it goes over production's heads because she's talking in code so feeds don't cut, okay? Eva mentions how Kato needs to go before Tom, okay? So understand that this is interesting that Eva would be the one that wants Kato to go before Tom because I had a theory that they had a pregame alliance, okay? This surprised me because I thought Eva would have wanted to prefer Tom leaving because of my pregame alliance theory. But maybe she's putting on an act for Tamar before Vito. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Now we know, no, that wasn't an act. Tamar takes exception after Eva gives her a look when she says she's not going up as the pawn next week if she can't compete for the HOH. Eva does a good job here of not pushing the issue. Dina leaves out the HOH first, and Tamar, on some real slick shit, whispers to Eva that Dina or Candy gonna be the pawn if it comes down to it. I think this was Tamar pulling the double bluff on Eva. I think the reason why she took such an exception to the look she gave her for saying she wouldn't be the pawn is because she was already skeptical onto her game because of the conversation she had with Dina and Candy. And I think that conversation with Dina and Candy also complemented to why she had to tell Eva she would put up Dina and Candy. That basically covers her on both sides. And I think it would be very hard to see Tamar being on the block next week, especially now that it's been revealed that the twist no longer exist. I don't think people will be thirsty to put her up because from a social aspect, after she got rid of one of the bullies that picked on the women, for you to come after her specifically, that would be in poor taste. So right now, no one can touch her. She's Teflon strategically. You come after her, then you're no better than Tom and Kato. So she's got that going for her right now. So kudos to you, Tamar. But yeah, so at the end of the day, Eva did a pretty good job here of not pushing the issue too far. And Tamar was real slick here. So I fully expect Dina goes up over Candy under Tamar's HOH if Tom or Kato managed to win Veto. Now, all of these notes were written before I knew anything about her, Dina, And Candy decided, hey, we're going to backdoor Eva's ass. You feel it, dig me? So at the end of the day, understand that these notes were taken yesterday. All right, now, around 10:25 p.m. Pacific time, Dina and Candy are seen comparing notes for a possible future HOH comp in the kitchen where anyone can listen. This is important to mention in case they align in the future because Dina is one of the few people I think Candy could beat at the end as of right now. Tamar, no doubt, will see Dina as a threat because of her developing ties to Candy. Now it makes sense if she's the pawn for Tamar strategically. But now I'm starting to think maybe all three of them definitely could have some future together. What's interesting is Lolo overhears them talking about dates and decides to suggest doing it with Eva and Ricky. This shows me how ultra competitive Lolo is, and it also explains why she doesn't like seeing Candy looking so comfortable in the game. She wanted her out over Joey. I think she is starting to grab the power vacuum that will be left over by either Tom or Kato leaving. Funniest thing about them talking dates is they're not even mentioning the days of the dates, just what happened at the comp on the date. This is something to take note of because it could stomp Lolo later in the game when you need to know the exact days. Now, granted, this isn't as difficult of a task to memorize because this isn't a standard 90-day season, ladies and gentlemen. This is more close to like a 20 to 30 some odd day season. And Lolo sounds kind of paranoid in how thirsty she is to study it in this specific moment. Now, Ricky was trying to basically calm her down a little bit. You could tell Lolo at the end of the day, she only wanted to study taking notes because she saw those two taking notes, okay? Tamar eventually walks in and chats with everyone before finishing a prayer and going to take a shower. After she leaves, Lolo reveals to Ricky that they're now back working with Tamar and their room alliance will be known as the Dream Team. This is good for Tamar because she will hopefully be given more time off the block in the alliance, at least until Final Five. I don't think Lolo, Eva, and Ricky can afford to pivot again without basically ruining what jury management they have left. They agree that Tamar has been loyal to them, and they should ride it out because everyone else is bad players, including Tom and Kato. Okay? This situation is great for Ricky because he knows the women have to smooth stuff over with Tamar than he does because Tom and Kato hate him, but fear him as well. That hate and fear shows Tamar indirectly that Ricky wasn't as close as he was to the alliance as Lolo and Eva were, who got more of a reaction from both Tom and Kato than Ricky ever did. I think it also helps his perception more than the ladies with her down the road because they both can work with Candy moving forward, making the end game interesting because if I'm Ricky, Candy and Tamar make my Final Five before Lolo and Tamar. Could this move in theory lose him the votes over Eva? Yes, but against Candy or Tamar, it could be a toss-up. But either way, I think his chance of winning increases more with the sisters than without them in the game. Tamar is once again angry with Candy in front of Dina about her talking to Kato and Tom. Apparently, when Kato and Tom walked up on Dina and Candy comparing notes and dates, they invited both to join. But the men whispered something to themselves and walked to the backyard, making Tamar believe Candy is at fault for it. She thinks Candy is compromising her game by associating with her targets. I don't think she acts like this towards Candy if Dream Team wasn't a thing. But I also think to a degree she is pulling a double bluff on Dina and the Dream Team here to keep her off the scent that she would easily be the pawns, okay? So there is some complexity to Tamar's cloud of combustion, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what I'll nickname Tamar's gameplay, the cloud of combustion. I think that's a great nickname. She is either truly mad at Candy and is using the alliance to throw her under the bus and revert back to how things truly were week one, or she is applying strategy from week one with the mindset she had of week three to protect Candy like she did before by downplaying their relationship to the people she shares a room with. She has to know they don't like her and Candy close. So playing up what Tom and Kato did, albeit on accident after what Candy did, happened to keep pawns in front of her in the queue, which keeps her twist in and out of range of being burned, which also keeps her options open. But now that we know the twist is burned already, that doesn't really apply. But you get where I'm coming from on this. It's so funny to see the same people that love Lifeguard Jesus' overpowered power app now mad about Tamar winning HOH over Kato after getting a twist. They didn't mind him using the death of a family member as strategy to get to know someone then. But now have the nerve to cry foul when a guy who gets as personal as to call this season somebody else's most defining moment in life just because his try-hard ass ruined his own social game by treating this season like his most defining moment was not to lose to Ricky? Damn, I'm out here like Twister. I'm talking y'all like it is. Let me say that one more time. That way y'all can catch me, okay? Because that was a lot of words. They didn't mind him using the death of a family member as strategy to get to know someone then, but now have the nerve to cry foul when a guy who gets as personal as to call this season somebody else's most defining moment in life just because his try-hard ass ruined his own social game by treating this season like his most defining moment was not to lose to Ricky. People are straight hypocrites and are showing their true colors by the day, ladies and gentlemen. So that has been pretty much my rant up until this point. I think we are set up very nicely for the next episode, ladies and gentlemen. I am ready to get into the questions portion. Let's get it popping. I'm on my way, coach. Everybody then got hit with straight up haymakers tonight. All right, Molotov cocktail action. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get it. Friendly fire is on, coach. Anybody can get it. But anyway, anyway. All right, let's get it popping. Camera up slightly, please. Slightly, please. Okay. All right. I agree with you, Andrew. Hey, shout outs to Andrew in the chat, my brother Andrew Miller. I agree. They are always going to label a brother aggressive at some point in the game. You could be Ricky Williams, you're aggressive. You could be Andrew Miller, who just happened to get a twist that screwed him. You're aggressive. You could be anybody with a little bit of melanin, and you're aggressive. I mean, you could be Ramses, who didn't even consider himself black and still be aggressive to a degree. So that's the truth, fam. That's the truth, fam. But yeah, let's get it popping, man. Sims 3 Reality Central asked the question, to what extent should Tamar and Candy trust Ricky? I think they should trust him enough to discuss the game on a surface level with him, okay? I think they should definitely play chess with him. Candy is already playing a lot of chess with Ricky. That is very smart. I think Ricky... I think his way of bonding with people is through chess. I think he would rather play chess than play the damn game on some days. But I think it's smart of Candy. Because even if they're not discussing things game related while they're playing chess, she's getting closer to him. And at the end of the day, even Lola will always be a tight pairing. Ricky knows that. And Ricky has to know he is the king of information right now. So he needs to lobby this information, okay? And this all depends on who wins the next HOH, because I think this HOH is very pivotal, because I can see production talking whoever wins the next HOH into not getting out time. He's a sitting duck. Why? I could see that. And see, if Tom survives this next HOH, it's highly probable he could survive the next 3, because we got a double eviction. And at the end of the day, if someone turns on someone the first eviction of the night, odds are Tom ain't gonna be in no one's crosshair doing the double. He's not gonna be in no one's live. So at the end of the day, they better make sure Tom is that first evicted on that double eviction night. They better make sure, because if he isn't, Tom could fuck around and make it to finale night just out of stupidity. And it ain't because he worked his way there, but you know his fans would give him all the credit in the world for stuff he didn't do. But that's neither here nor there. They will never call Ramses from BB19. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. At the end of the day, Josh was twice as aggressive for Boba. I know business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but yep, a while back he said Candy, Tamar, and Ricky. Yeah, and Candy's anything but aggressive. So yeah, exactly. So Taylor Mays asked the question. Welcome back, Taylor. Dave, how do you feel about Tamar and Candy being so open with their gameplay in front of Dina? I don't like it because Dina is a rat. But at the same time, though, I could like it if they had Dina's like loyalty, but the problem is no one has Dina's loyalty. Dina just wants to make it to the end by any means necessary, you know. And I think Tamar is wise to that. I think to a certain extent, Tamar don't trust Dina at all. But at the same time, I think Tamar also knows she has to talk some game in front of her, or else Dina will automatically think she doesn't fuck with her. So it's like that. You got to play the game a little bit. And see, in the same way, I think they have to talk a little bit of game. Granted, I think they should talk a little bit more game with Ricky. But the problem is Ricky is closer to Lolo and Eva. So you almost have to talk more to Dina because she doesn't have Kato. But at the end of the day, if you're going to go all in with Dina, you might as well pull Tom just to have the extra number if you're going to go ahead and fire the first shot. But this double is going to be very interesting. I have no idea how this double is going to shake out because at the end of the day, whoever wins this next HOH, they could be right out the damn door next. It really could just be that simple, you know? But one thing's for sure, Tamar ain't going nowhere that first eviction, but that second one, she could be in trouble. I'm hoping she pulls it out like Omarosa. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I don't like them being too open with Dina. I think it's a little early to be open with her. I would prefer if those two were just a tight 2 and they kind of like, you know, you know, play Dina to a certain degree, but you don't want Dina being the fourth number for the other three. And that's where it gets rocky. But you know, Tom will never be a number for the other three. So you got to go all in here and you got to reel in Tom and Dina for one vote. That to me is the play. That to me is the play. Because if any of Eva, Lolo, and Ricky win HOH, y'all know it's going to be Tom and one of y'all on the block anyway. They're not going to put up one of their own. And it'll probably be Dina or Candy because Tamar worked her way out of that. So, you know, if it's Dina, that's great. But I have a feeling they'll put Candy up next to Tom because, number one, they're going to want Tamar to vote Tom out. If it's Dina next to Tom, they could be worried that Tamar and Candy, at both being votes, could try to force a flip. And with one of the three being the HOH, it would be a 2-2 tie, no? It would be a 2-2 tie during the double. I mean, on the second eviction of the double. It wouldn't be a 2-2 tie in the first, and it would be a 5 votes, right? Yeah, because right now, technically, it's 8 people. So 5. Yeah. So I got it right. All right. I just want to make sure I got the math right. I don't like to send people off with the theories and with my theories and stuff. Jake Wish asked the question, do you think they are dragging Dina to the end? I think someone's going to drag her to the end and look at it as an easy win. Which is why I'm hoping Dina leaves during a double. I hope something goes wrong. They try to target Lolo and Ricky. Something crazy happens. Eva wins veto, takes off Lolo. Now Ricky is sitting next to Dina. Now you got Lolo, Eva, Tamar, and Candy all having to come together and realize we need Ricky in this game more than Dina. I hope that happens, but that's a little too far-fetched. But it's possible if Tom was willing to get off his anti-black rhetoric, but that's asking for a little bit too much, don't you think? He need that Tory Lanez. Hey, you fooling out here, Drew. You fooling. Miss Mary Sims asked the question, Dave, did you hear on the live feeds that Tom told Lolo that Candy, Tamar, and Ricky were serpents? Oh, my God. He's getting on code. Most likely he's reading the room. He sees Lolo is probably a little self-conscious about how Candy is getting closer to Tamar, but I don't see why you would mention that to them when Ricky is aligned to them directly. How does that help you? Maybe he thought by saying that they would evict him. Maybe he did that on purpose to get evicted. Maybe that was because I'm assuming this happened before this episode on feeds. I'm assuming that unless this just happened after he's saying in the game after Kato left. I doubt it, but I think that's probably how it happened before this live episode. So if he did say that before this live episode, I think that was just a ploy by him to get evicted. I think he has quitter written on his face, but he doesn't want to be a quitter. But he wants to be a quitter, though. You know, it's one of those things. Like it isn't the full Keisha Knight Pulliam, but it's close. You know what I mean? Hold on. I thought that was a question. My fault. Lee Parks asked the question, who do you think would get Tom's vote if final two were Tamar and Ricky? I think Tom would never vote for Ricky. I think Tamar would get that vote. Mainly because Tamar acquiesced to the wishes of the producers and didn't ruin their reputation. And Tom still views Ricky as the person who is the arbiter of doom for his game. He will no doubt be a bit butthurt. And I just don't see him rewarding Ricky with the win. Even if he called Ricky would win the game, I can see Tom being I can see him contradicting himself just because of how erratic he was in the game. I can see him not making sense to himself. Definitely. Dang, my Twitter booming right now, Coach. Dang, I must have said some crazy shit in this rant. This must be legendary. All right, let me go back to questions. Let me not get lost in the sauce. CM asked the question, can we trust Candy? I think, and I'm sure you're asking this from a Tamartian perspective, CM, I think we can. Because Candy has been on the block several times, and she has not once cracked under the pressure. She has not pulled a Keisha Knight Pulliam. She actually has fighter in her, and she can read on social cues better than most when it came to targeting Eva. And I'd argue She wouldn't push Tamar to backdoor Eva if she didn't have Tamar's back. She sees the writing on the wall, and she sees at the end of the day, Lolo and Eva are their biggest immediate threat. And it ain't Tom, especially now that Kato's gone. It ain't Tom, and it ain't Dina. It's those two. Okay? And if you get rid of one of those two, Ricky comes to your side. I'm not believing the bullshit. Ricky will flip quick and be pro-black Wakanda forever as soon as he gets saved, coach. I'm calling it now, man. Well, not as soon as he gets saved. As soon as one of Lolo and Eva leave before him, he will go Wakanda forever. I'm telling y'all what it is. And that might make Tamar want to work with him more. Insider joke. Tom called them serpents while he was at HOH. He said it. Wow. He said it while he had HOH-itis. I'm not shocked. I'm really not. They must be giving him weed. You funny as hell, Budgie. You funny as hell on the low. Laney 808 asked the question, do you think Tamar threw Lolo the veto? Not at all. I can see Tamar wanted that. She wanted that. She was going backdoor in the Eva. You could tell. You watching her, she did this one thing where she got an answer wrong and immediately switched it to blank. That was frustration. That was her knowing she gave that veto up and lost her chance to get out Eva in that moment. That was her. Now, once it was revealed Lolo won, she got on game mode and was like, yeah. That's what you got to do, coach. The minute you don't do that, someone is a party pooper. You feel me? So she had to play it that way. She did it perfectly because I think Lolo bought her happiness. I think Lolo bought it because these two dudes have disrespected all of these women. So at the end of the day, it's not really that hard for Tamar to put on this mask and act because she truly doesn't like these two guys. But at the same time, she also knew that there was a bigger play to be made. And that's why she switches so fast. And you even heard Julie mention, Julie said something that I thought was kind of sort of snitching on Tamar subtly, because when Tamar switched to blank real fast, did y'all notice how Julie went out of her way to say, Tamar, I need you to put your, I need you to leave your answer until I tell you you can reset. And then that's when Tamar said, sorry, Julie. You feel me? I think that was Julie's way of trying to let them know, she wants this a little too much. I don't know. I just felt like Julie, chill, coach, chill. You know what I'm saying? Who cares if she reverted back to blank when she already missed on the point? You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. I think she threw it. Oh, no, but wait. That's what Pamela Walker says. I think she threw it. I think it was smart for her if she threw it. But I think she knew, if I get out Eva here, and then you got Lolo, who just got done going off on Kato. Kato stays in the house. Eva's gone. Lolo loses it completely, but now she got to go off on the women who decided not to keep her girl around. Now Lolo is all of a sudden the one in solitary confinement, being fucked with mentally by being alone. All of a sudden, the same tactics Lolo tried to use are being used on her the same way the tactics were used on Tom that he tried to implement. And see, I wouldn't hold it past this season for that to even unfold somewhere before now in the finale, because of how fluid the gameplay and strategy has become this year. I'm really liking this Celebrity Big Brother US2 season. I'm really liking it. You know, like, and see, it ain't just because 5 straight white men left the game. I mean, does that help things a bit? Maybe. But at the end of the day, that's not the sole reason. It's because I can clearly see that we are getting players who want to be there at the end. That's all we can ask for, okay? Now, if Dina makes the end, then I might have to go back on that statement. But I think something will happen. I think Dina will go do it. Something gotta give, man. Because if I'm Lolo, you gotta look at Dina and go, she's gotta go because she's everyone's GOAT. And at the end of the day, if I'm a comp beast, I want nothing but comp beats everywhere. That way I don't stick out like a sore thumb all day. I don't want a whole bunch of Dinas around so I look like I'm going to always dominate. I mean, that's just reverse psychology. But yeah, I almost wanted to say Lolo, calm down so we don't think production duped us. You funny. Tommy K funny. I'm willing to answer 4 more questions, ladies and gentlemen. Miles Case Jr., shout outs to the brother. He asked the question, how do you see this ending? Could we have a first black winner? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think if Tamar pulls off the blind side of Eva tonight, we have a first black winner. I think it would have did it. The reason why is because you do the math. It's too much chaos once she does that. And as long as Lolo or Ricky, I think as long as Lolo doesn't win the double eviction HOH, Tamar doesn't get sent out the game and has to pay for it. I think Lolo is the one that gets sent out in the double if Eva's already gone before the double even happens. And now all of a sudden, Tamar and Candy have all the power. Tom and Kato, they're still, they're still disliked, but they're still in the game and feel like they have a bit of power. But I just think they have no chance of getting the votes to win at the end all around. I think they pretty much ruin their chances of winning. But see, you're playing with fire there, because if they were to get rid of Eva in that situation, Dina probably flips right back to Kato and Tom. One of Kato or Tom probably wins the next HOH. Tamar runs out of her twist, and then we're pissed because she didn't get out one of the dudes. So you know what? We need to just take what we got tonight. We need to just take what we got tonight. I'm just being honest, Coach. Taylor Mays asked the question, how do you feel about us not being able to see them choose player for the veto several times this season? I don't like it at all, Miss Taylor Mays. And the reason why I don't like this is because at the end of the day, it seems shisty. It seems underhanded. It don't take that long to show us the scene. It don't take us that long. And if you're truly, tight for time, how about you do what Survivor does and put your extra scenes on YouTube? Give us something else to watch. Help your own content grow by having more content to choose from. There's a lot of different ways they could approach this, ladies and gentlemen, but for whatever reason, they don't want to show us how these players are being picked. And then when you take into account that this was the ideal veto lineup for Tom and Kato to win it, and it was an ideal situation from the point that Dina was also competing in it as well. It felt like they did all they could to save these two, but they're just not as good as they've been marketed as by all of their dick riders. It is what it is. Yeah, I agree with you, Tommy K. If only the next regular season will play this way, I'd be so happy. I agree with you 100%. Kato, why did you align with Natalie and Lolo? Because they're beautiful. Yeah, Chris, I peeped that. He sounded real crazy today. I was like, wait, what? Cam6996 asked the question. Shout out to Ghost Hunter coming through clutch. Who do you think has the easiest road to get to the final two? As of right now, the easiest road to get to final two is Dina. Yeah, the easiest road. Because she really can just fall asleep right now and be at the end somehow. Nobody else can really fall asleep right now. Everyone else has to work their way to the end except Dina. Okay? That's my answer to that question. Hold on. Dang, there was a question I saw right under that question. I just missed it. Oh, okay. That wasn't a real question. I'm tripping. They showed them like once this season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking two more questions. Natalie, Eva Marie, and Tom final two? Nah, I don't think so. Now that Kato's gone, I think it could be Eva and Dina or Eva and Candy. I think two women are going to be at the end. The odds of Ricky and Tom surviving all these evictions coming up. Now, granted, the minute a woman targets a woman, I think it's going to cause a mad dash of hate. And then they're going to just fume. Then all of a sudden, all the people saying, see, a Girls Alliance will never make it to the end. They're going to come back from hiding. It's going to be like Groundhog's Day. Oh, we can see you now. You know what I'm saying? We can see your shadow. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think that's going to go down. I think that's what it'll go down. They said this is our best chance. 3.5 out of 7 are black. Real talk though, we ain't never had this good of a chance to have a black person win the game. Hey, and I think this is why motherfuckers is coming after Swayleigh, y'all. 100%, man. I think people are so mad. It's like I tell you all the time. When we make some positive progress, someone engineers something to happen to take away from said progress. And right on cue, this controversy happens as soon as we have 3 black players playing exceptionally well in their own way, in their own unique way. I don't think we've ever seen a player like Candy. I don't think we've ever seen a player like Tamar. I don't think we've ever seen a player like Ricky. These are 3 unique archetypes of the black community doing well in this game and showing that they can pivot and work with white folks and work with black folks. They are showing both sides of it, okay? And yet there are so many people poo-pooing this season just because of their own agenda. And it's sad, ladies and gentlemen. It's really sad because we all should be coming together as a group. You feel it, dig me? We should all be coming together as a group and just admit this is a great season. But we can't have nice things. We can never have a universally loved season. We can never have that, because no matter what, if the game is played fairly, the other side is going to hate. If it's unfairly, we're race baiting. No matter what, we can never get on the same side. We can never get on the same accord, because I think people don't want to be on the same accord with us. I really think it's that simple. Yeah, I'm loving this season too, man. I don't have a problem with this season. Okay, final question from Neon Diamond 101. Dave, were you surprised they didn't rig the veto comp for Tom and Kato? They did rig that comp. They did. But Tom and Kato were too captivated by another comic to focus. They rigged that shit. Don't get the game twisted. They rigged that shit. They wanted to rig that shit. But I think Tom wanted to leave. I think Tom threw that veto. You know, all these Tom fans that defend him left and right, when you really watch him, he looked like he was ready to get the fuck out that jam. And y'all, meanwhile, y'all are speaking up for a guy who don't even want to be here no more. But this is the guy y'all champion, a guy who would contemplate quitting, a guy who can't clap back when things don't go his way, when he faces some adversity. Do you know how often black folks face adversity every day? Like, if only we could handle life like Tom is handling the game. You know, it would be so simple. You know, oh, things aren't going my way. I'm just going to blame one guy for all of my problems for the next 3 weeks. That's Tom. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 11th rant of Celebrity Big Brother US Season 2, entitled The Age of Fake Outrage. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Shout outs to the mighty mods. Ghost, you were clutch yet again, my good sir. I am Dave Smith, your humble host, and this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you could be here with a most lit live chat in Big Brother Celebrity US Season 2 history, bar none. Once again, I am your humble host, Dave Smith, and I'm out of here, man. See y'all on the next episode. Deuces.